Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you 15 things that I think are essential for everyone who is starting a sewing journey. And of course, the first thing I have on my list will be the sewing machine. I have this manual brother sewing machine or mechanical brother sewing machine, depending on what you like to call it. And I love it because it has a lot of stitches. It's a basic sewing machine, but it does the job and I think it's essential. The next thing on my list will be fabric scissors, and this black one I'm holding is my favorite scissors I bought from Moplan. I absolutely love it. I'm going to put a link in the description bar. Then this pinking shears with the serrated edges as well. They come in very handy, so you definitely want to invest in a good pair of fabric scissors. The next thing on my list will be the Rotary cutter, and I love this Rotary cutter. It's not a popular brand or anything, but it does the job well, and it has a safe button that I can lock and unlock my Rotary cutter when not in use. And as you can see, it has a really sharp blade, so you want to be careful when you're using your Rotary cutter. Next up, you need to have some machine needles handy, especially because you're advised to change your machine needle after every project, and this is what a needle looks like. You basically change it by unscrewing the knob there and inserting it into the needle compartment of your sewing machine. You also want to keep some hand needles, and these hand needles come in a variety of sizes. As you can see, the one on my right is a lot smaller and thinner because they are beading needles, and the ones on my left are slightly fatter. They come in handy when you're sewing in buttons or hand sewing. The next thing on my list is fabric, and this basically depends on the kind of projects that you're working on. There are a lot of fabrics to choose from, so you kind of need to know what you want to do and choose a suitable fabric for that purpose. Another important tool that I highly recommend is the seam ripper, and this seam ripper has a blade in between the ball and the sharp edge, and you basically use it to cut through stitches that you've made. It helps to correct your mistakes, and it can also be used to open up buttonholes. As you can see, it comes in different sizes, and I've got the small and the big one, and I'm putting them side by side so that you can compare, and you see it's basically the same thing and it only differs in size. Next up is one of my faves, and it's called a snip, and I love this because it's very handy and it helps me to cut loose thread, especially the ones that are so close to the fabric and my scissors won't cut well. So I think it's very necessary to own a pair of snips. You also want to invest in some pins, a magnet or a pin cushion, and the reason why I highly recommend a pin cushion or a magnet is because pins get missing so fast. You will be surprised how many pins I've lost over the last couple of years, so you definitely want to invest in one of those. Next thing on the list, of course, is your measuring tape. You want to invest in a good measuring tape, and I've got tons and tons of measuring tapes. Trust me guys, it's never too much. And the great thing about these ones is that they have both the centimeter and the inches sides, depending on what works for you. I work with centimeters majorly, but then sometimes I work with inches. Next up, you need your Tailor's chalk or fabric marker, and this Tailor's chalk I'm using, I always use it to make markings on my fabric, as you can see, and I use it especially when cutting to mark my allowances on my fabric. You also want to invest in a smaller pair of scissors, and I use this as my paper scissors. The next thing on my list comes highly recommended by me. I absolutely love it, and this is called a pattern master. I got this from Moplan in the UK, and I'll leave a link in the description bar below. I love it because it functions well as a ruler because of the markings on it. It also functions well as a set square because of the straight edges. It functions as a protractor because of the angles it's got, and it also functions well as an armhole curve. I absolutely love it, and I use it almost every time I'm making patterns. However, if you prefer a more traditional ruler, this steel ruler I have here is also a good buy. It has markings up until 24 inches and 60 centimeters. Next up is this really small tool called a sewing gauge, and this is very important when you start adding on allowances or when you start making patterns. You also want to invest in some thread, and if you're just starting off, I recommend buying colors black and white only for now, and build up your arsenal as you go. I've got a wide variety of thread. I've got them in different colors and different sizes. However, I have gathered this over the last couple of years. And lastly, the number 15 item on my list will be a good steam iron. You want to invest in a good steam iron, guys. I cannot overestimate the importance of one. Alright people, we've come to the very end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you very much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.